Hi, my name is Lily Reisinger. It is July 3rd, 2020, and today I'm going to be talking about the determination of gender and how that is coordinated either in your genes or in your hormones. So first I want to just briefly talk about the determination of sex. So sexual development is programmed by the human genome. Humans have 23 pairs of chromosomes, which result in 46 total chromosomes. The genetic sex of an individual depends on the sex chromosomes. In females, their sex chromosomes are both X's, one X from the mom and one X from the dad. Males are XY, the Y coming from their father. And then embryos develop or will develop into a female in the absence of a Y chromosome. Both male and female sex organs consist of gonads, internal genitalia, and external genitalia. Internal genitalia are anything that are accessory glands and ducts, which connect the gonads with the outside environment. External genitalia are all external reproductive structures, and the gonads in males are called testes, and in females are called ovaries. So, genes versus hormones. The determination of sex depends on the presence or the absence of the sex-determining region of the Y chromosome, particularly the SRY gene. If the SRY gene is present and functional, the bipotential gonads develop into testes. SRY takes testes determining factor, also known as TDF, which promotes testes differentiation. If that gene, however, is absent, like in females who do not have a Y chromosome, the gonads will develop into the ovaries under the direction of multiple female-specific genes. 2 X chromosomes are necessary, though, for functional ovary development. That means if the female ends up with 1 X chromosome and none from one of the parents, so they're XO, that will lead to ovarian dysgenesis, also known as Turner syndrome. An example of the SRY gene is shown in the image, and it is Y-linked because it's found only on the Y chromosome. So there's also gonadal sex. So during the first 5 weeks of gestational life, gonads are indifferent or bipotential, which means they are neither male or female. In genetic males, the SRY gene of the Y chromosome produces TDF, as previously discussed, which will influence gonadal development into testes during gestational weeks 6 to 7, as you can start to see happening on the left side of the diagram. Otherwise, the female gonads, which are ovaries, begin to develop at gestational week 9. Testes have 3 cell types: germ cells called spermatogena, steroli cells, which produce anti-Müllerian hormone, also known as AMH, and Leydig cells, which produce testosterone. Ovaries have 3 cell types: germ cells, oogonia, granulosa cells, which produce estradiol, and theca cells, which produce androgens and progesterone. Because the first few weeks of gestational life, these things have not taken place yet, this is why it takes a few weeks, usually around 2 months to 10 weeks, to figure out the sex of a embryo. So, differentiation. This is another image where you can see the undifferentiated gonads turning into both the testes and the ovaries. So if the Müllerian ducts degenerate, then Wolffian ducts will generate into the male reproductive tract, as shown on the left, and then if Wolffian ducts degenerate, the female reproductive tract will develop from the Mullerian ducts, as shown on the right hand of the image. So let's talk about the phenotypic sex of males. So as the testes develop, they will secrete anti-Mullerian hormone, AMH, as discussed earlier, from the Steroli cells, and then the Leydig cells will secrete testosterone. Testosterone will promote differentiation of the Wolffian ducts into the internal genitalia, which gives rise to the epididymis, the vas deferens, and the seminal vesicles, as well as the ejaculatory ducts. This can all be seen in the image on the left hand of the page. AMH causes atrophy of the Mullerian ducts, which will have become the female genital tract if they were not suppressed. DHT, which is a testosterone derivative from 5-alpha reductase, stimulates the differentiation of the external genitalia around gestational weeks 8 to 10. Without DHT, female-like external genitalia will develop. So that is shown on the right hand of the image. Now let's talk about phenotypic sex in females. So this is the major difference between sex determination in males and females. No hormones are needed to cause the development of the female gonads, which are ovaries. Development does require, though, 2 functional X chromosomes, indicating that there are genetic signals involved. In females, the Mullerian ducts do not regress, giving rise to the fallopian tubes, the uterus, and the upper 1/3 of the vagina. No hormones are needed to cause the development of the external genitalia, which is the lower 2/3 of the vagina, the clitoris, the labia majora, and the labia minora. Growth to normal size, though, does depend on estradiol, which is a hormone. If a gonadal female is exposed to high levels of androgens in utero, though, the external genitalia will differentiate into a male-like phenotype. So, kind of to summarize everything, with an image on the left, which is pretty detailed. You can see in male pattern, the complete male pattern requires the sex-determining region of the Y chromosome, which is the SRY gene, and its gene product, TDF. Secretion and local action of testosterone on the Wolffian duct are crucial. The reduction of testosterone to DHT to provide androgen action in the cells of the external genitalia is also very important. And then secretion of anti-Mullerian hormone to suppress development of the Mullerian duct is also key. So lots of hormonal dependent things going on in the male pattern. As shown in this image, you can see that male pattern development is very hormone dependent, which contrasts with female pattern, which is largely hormone independent. Development does not require hormonal products from the ovary. A gene on the X chromosome helps determine the development of the ovary. And then the WNT gene contributes to the development of the Mullerian duct later on into female structures. And in the absence of gonads, the female pattern will result. Again, estradiol is needed, which is a hormone, but that is later down the line.